Hi, church. It's Dani here from the auditorium. It's Friday. What is it? The 7th of August, and we've just had a government announcement that phase 5 that we were hoping would kick in next weekend has now been delayed to somewhere towards the end of August. I think it's the 29th of August. And what it's reminded me of is that we're still in phase 4 of our WA government restrictions for this pandemic that's hit us. It's something we discussed on Tuesday night as well at our elders meeting, and it's something that I would like to remind you of today. You know, we were gathering here on Sunday and it was fantastic. I had one couple tell me that it was so invigorating to them, and I'm sure many of us felt that way. It was great after months and months of not being able to meet physically here to be able to do it. And let's be honest, we've crossed some boundaries on Sunday. I was one of them. Man, I was shaking people's hands, people were hugging and whatnot. And so what I would just like to remind you of is where we're at. Phase 4 of WA government restrictions. So what does that mean for us? So maybe this coming week as we gather here physically, for those of us who have reserved a seat, what is it that we do? Well, it's really 3 simple things. The first thing is this. If you feel sick in any way, stay home, please. You know, whether you've got a sore throat or a bit of a fever or a runny nose, whatever it may be, please stay home. That's the best thing you can do for others and for yourself as well. The second thing is just simple hygiene, right? So we've got some of these out that we'll put out at the front door. We had them out last week actually, but we weren't particularly clear about it. We didn't have any signs up. Whereas this coming week, we'll have some at the front door, and we'll probably have them in some high traffic areas like the kitchen area. We might serve some morning tea and maybe some of the kids' rooms even as well. So just basic hygiene. If you go to the toilet, wash your hands, please, and just try and keep clean as you go along. So if you feel sick, stay home, basic hygiene. And then thirdly is the 1.5 meter rule. Now this is the tough one, isn't it? So you have to stay 1.5 meters apart. We've gone through great lengths to make sure all of our seats are 1.5 meters apart. But what we do ask of you in this particular case, once you come and sit down, is to keep 1.5 meters between you and the person next to you. I mean, of course, if they're from the same household or same family, if you guys all live together, then you don't have to do that. But if it's someone you don't live with, then you have to do that. And I know it kind of sucks. But we have to do that, unfortunately. So please do that. It also means no handshakes. You know, I don't know how you can keep the 1.5 meters, which I didn't do last week, and shake someone's hand or give them a hug. It's just impossible. I mean, even the government released a video, I think, or an ad in the last couple of weeks showing people and reminding them that we're still in this pandemic, even though, you know, there are very few cases here. And they were showing how you can handshake, you know, with your elbow. And it's like, man, if you do that, you must have a really long distance from your elbow to your shoulder to be able to keep that 1.5 meter rule. But hey, if that's what they put out, then feel free to do that. Or maybe do the old air hugs or, you know, Bluetooth high fives or whatever. There's so many different ways that they've put on YouTube of ways you can do that in a fun way. But let's keep that 1.5 meter distance here when you're sitting or when you're out having a coffee, whatever it is. And you know what? It really is difficult to keep these regulations when it does feel like here in WA, we're out of it. Let's be honest, right? I mean, that's what I find difficult. I've just checked online and there's 7 active cases in WA. There are no community transmissions. Most of them are people that have come from flights and they're in quarantine now. And yet when we get here together, we have to pretend that, you know, this person could have the virus and I got to keep my distance and it feels awkward and it feels weird. But the reality is that we need to keep doing it. There are 2 reasons that drive us to do this. The first one is that that's just what our government has told us to do. And so as Christians, the Bible clearly teaches us that we need to submit to our government, as long as they don't tell us to go against what God tells us. And in this case, they're not. And it's very fair as well. Everyone in the state has to do this. It's not that we are being treated unfairly as churches, but everyone has to do this. I mean, even at Optus Stadium, people are leaving rows open, there's social distancing And so we need to do the same. So that's the first thing. The second thing that drives us is a love for others. Okay, now I might be on the side that feels, all of this is a bit over the top. I'm a bit over it, and maybe there are many others of you that feel that way too. But the reality is there are lots of people who don't feel like that. And so we need to act in such a way that they feel comfortable to gather with us and not to be distracted by our closeness and all these things and stop them from hearing the Bible being opened up and preached to us, so that they might not have that as an obstacle to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so we want to love each other by holding back on that hug, holding back on that handshake, even though it's awkward, and just do things verbally. And I'm sure pretty soon, who knows, all of these restrictions will be done away with, and life will return to normal. But until then, we've got to keep submitting to our government. We've got to keep loving each other, and hopefully we can do it a bit better this week. I was in the wrong as well. For those of you who might not have to do all these things, you might be tuning in live streaming with us. I want to say this Sunday, I think it'll be a lot better. We've learned a few things last week. We made some little mistakes. We've edited some of our settings, with our machine that sends out the live stream to YouTube. We've moved one of our receivers, Tony's microphone that was like making all that noise. We've moved it up to the stage, so hopefully it doesn't clash with the Wi-Fi. We think everything will run much better this week. So pray for this Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you, whether you're here with us in the auditorium or joining us live stream. It's going to be a great Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, have a great weekend, a good Friday night. Take care.